Arizona. Jed Fish. How about that season last year? Yeah, okay. Let your casual fan go, oh, they won 5-7. They didn't make a bowl game. This is a program that was the worst program in college football for 3 years, solid 3 years before this past year. I mean, they were the worst program. And they go out, Jed Fish. People are like, why are we hiring Jed Fish? What is this? Well, what are we doing? What are we doing? Bam, goes out, wins some ball games that maybe they shouldn't have. And maybe the program's looking up from here. What are your thoughts on this year going into 2023 Arizona Wildcats?
This is a really exciting team. I think, like you said, if you're an Arizona fan, you should be excited. It'll be a fun year. Now, the over on the win total, maybe it's a little bit disappointing. It's only at 5. The problem is you got a pretty tough schedule. Now, you do play UTEP, like we just talked about. So that should be a win in week 3 there. Going on the road at Mississippi State in the conference, I love that. I think that is such an awesome, like very I'm excited for that matchup, right? Arizona Mississippi State.
It was a
In
good
that
game
conference,
last year until pretty late. I remember staying up for that game. It ended at like 1 in the morning Central. It was a good game until late. I'll say Arizona a couple turnovers that maybe shouldn't have happened, but I think Jaden Delora, they say he's turnover prone, but some of that's just trying to make a play, man. I'd rather have someone try to make a play with with that kind of talent that you have on this team. Try to make a play.
well, yeah, and
Someone.
the system, like, so yeah, they do lose Dorian Singer, like it says on the screen, along with the rest of the the other 2 guys going to USC as well. Now Singer's a stud, right? He had a great true freshman year. Um, he scored a touchdown yesterday in week 0 with USC, but they still have plenty of talent, right? Not only at the wide receiver position, but also at the running back position. Michael Wiley, Jonah Coleman are really, really good. Wiley, they were kind of worried if he was going to test the pro waters or go for NIL somewhere else, but he stayed, which was huge. You also have Rayshawn Luke, who's coming off of injury as well. So it's a deep group, experienced, um, plenty of talent there. Wide receiver, I mean, you
They're
could have put
awesome.
Jacob Cowing or Tedatoria McMillan. I'm sorry, McMillan is a stud. He deserves better than that. But as a true freshman, he was a beast. And then they get
Yep.
the transfer from Colorado, right out of the Montana Lemonis Craig, right, who was the spring game hero for Colorado. And the staff really believes this is a plug and play system where they can take, different wide receivers and they can just fill and duplicate the success that, they've had there with some good wide receiver runs under Jed Fish.
Yeah, and these are legit. Like you said, these are legit wide receivers, right? McMillan is. You could make the argument that he's probably one of the best. He's a top 3 or top 5 true sophomore wide receiver heading into this year, probably. Right.
Oh
So
yeah.
Dorian Singer was a big loss, but look, that was a big get for them to get Montana Lamonius Craig. I mean, as a big body guy, I mean, I think he fits well in there. I like Jaden Delora a lot, actually. I think, yeah, he turned the ball over quite a bit last year. I mean, if you're looking at interceptions per game, fumbles per game, right? The turnover. Look, I mean, if your turnover luck changes even a little bit this year and you keep that high powered offense, they brought in a lot of transfers on defense. Maybe they get a little bit better there. Like this could be kind of a team that I think could catch some teams sleeping for sure this year.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, absolutely. With
but
Jaden
I
Delora, I mean, real quick about Delora before we move on. Um, Apparently he's had a really good offseason. He's done what he's needed to do to become more consistent, right, down in and down out. Obviously, he's going to take risks, like you said, which you want him to do, and you want him to play, free and exciting like he does. But he should be talked about in that same, not in the same tier as Caleb Williams, right, and Michael Penix, but in terms of the better quarterbacks in this conference in the Pac-12, he's absolutely right up there with Cam Rising and some of those other guys. Like I think, I like him.
yeah. So the over under is at 5. And the schedule I think is not. I don't think it's that crazy. But I think in the Pac-12, a lot of the schedules are similar because it's kind of tiered out, right? You got like 6 teams that are like can actually compete for the Big 12 title. Then you got another like tier of 6 teams that maybe aren't so amazing, right? Or maybe like there's 3 tiers. There's like your bottom, I'm gonna say bottom 2 teams, and then you got like 3 teams, and then you got the rest of your teams up top. So So they draw, of course, Washington, USC, Oregon State, UCLA, Utah. That, those are games that they're not supposed to win, but I could see them pulling out one, maybe two. They get Mississippi State out of conference, going to Mississippi State. That's going to be a really tough game. So I have this. I have it as a push. I have them at 5 wins, which again would be another good season for Arizona, right? And like, uh, I think Jaden DeLora, likely this won't be his last year unless he really just pops off big time. So I think you could get him again for another year next year, and I think that'd be really awesome. And then maybe next year's the year when they can actually stack some more guys defensively. I mean, they brought in like, was it 4 or 5 transfers on the defensive line? And they weren't necessarily like awful. Like, well, sorry, they were really awful last year on the defensive side of the ball, as you can see, giving up 37 points per game. But I mean, hopefully these guys in the D line that they brought in the transfers are a little bit better. I don't think that they necessarily are. But like, okay, so their linebacker core though, they got a little bit decimated there, but I think they recovered a little bit in the transfer portal at the linebacker spot. Uh, Including Justin Flo from Oregon. I mean, if you're a recruiting guy, you definitely know who that guy is. He is a absolute monster. Just never worked out for him at Oregon, but maybe his athleticism and his physical skill set can, provide some use on that Arizona defense. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this defense? Did they get better? I don't know. Are they still going to be pretty bad?
I don't know how much worse you can really get. I don't think they're going to take a step
Yeah.
back because, but I do think they kind of lose a lot of players, like especially on the defensive line. But it's not like those players are very good, anyways. I know, one went to LSU, one went to USC. Keon Barr's like on the screen there. He's actually a good player. He was good for them. He's gonna be starter for USC as well. But everyone else, I don't think they're really too bummed they're missing on. They brought in some guys, right, from Power 5 teams. You got a UCLA guy, you got a Colorado guy, you got an Indiana guy, a Georgia guy. So it's guys that have the size. And that was really their problem last year is, I mean, they give up 5.5 yards per attempt, right? So like that's not really what you want to see from a defense. So I think they brought in some beef to be in there. So worst case scenario, you just have bodies and just large humans that can hopefully, be a little bit better run sport. Like you said, Justin Flo at linebacker can maybe provide some spark plays. I don't even know if he'll start. He's going to play for sure, but he's got to stay healthy and prove to the staff that, he can play a consistent down in and down out. Jacob Manu is a sophomore. He seems to be pretty good, taking that next step in spring and now into fall camp. Cornerback, I like Ephesians Prysock, right? He's a stud and 6'3", NFL tools, super talented there. Dylan Wyatt, a guy from Cal Poly, seems to be getting better every practice. A guy the staff was pretty high on, getting him from Cal Poly. Obviously needs time to adjust to a Power 5, team there in practices, but he seems like he's the guy there. And then safeties, they've got some interesting competition. Genesis Smith is pretty dynamic there, but is he ready yet? Who knows? We'll see. I think if they're a little bit better, I think this over is going to hit. Now it worries me from taking it. Right, five wins. I see 5 and 7. The problem is I think this team will be better than last year, and so conventional wisdom says, well, if they're better than last year, and last year they were 5 and 7, they'll go 6 and 6, 7 and 5, make a bowl game. But I think with some of the schedule dynamics, with the improving Pac-12, I don't really know. I don't see it as a play. I'd like to lean the over just because I think the team's going to be better. But I'm not going to touch it in terms of actually putting money down on it.